All right, well, here's an interesting situation.
Mm-hmm.
This is amazing that this went on as long as it did.
Okay.
An officer resigns after allegedly using the police database to ask 150 women on dates.
Okay. All right.
Florida, a police officer on the force for 12 years has resigned after being accused of using the police department's confidential database as his personal dating service, contacting at least 150 women to ask them out.
Wow.
The Bradenton Police Chief, Melanie Bevan, held a press conference last Thursday to discuss the case of Sergeant Lionel Marinas.
Lionel Marinas? White guy?
Yeah, very white. Who, she said, cast a dark shadow on our law enforcement profession.
Is that a racist comment?
She didn't say greasy, she said dark.
Jesus, dude. The fuck? I was going for the subtle humor. You went all the way for it. Jesus Christ.
Sometimes you have to just shine a spotlight on things.
I was going to just kind of brush across their shoulder a little bit. You went right for the punch in the face.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Just hope that shining a spotlight on it doesn't blind you with the reflection. The investigation into Marina's behavior began on June of 2018.
Okay.
When the department received a citizen's complaint from an adult female and her parents. After a brief encounter in a parking lot with a young woman, Marinas began following her in his police cruiser all the way to her parents' house, making her uneasy, according to Bevan. He allegedly said he was there regarding a domestic matter and asked to see the woman, but her parents became suspicious of his intentions and refused to let their daughter come to the door despite Marina's insistence. They then requested the officer's name and a supervisor information, but he left without producing it.
Said, fuck that.
Yeah.
Put his hand over his badge and ran.
Exactly. Responding to the family's subsequent call to the police department, a watch commander on duty was able to identify the officer as Marinas. When asked for his side of the story, the sergeant said he followed the woman to her residence because one of her headlights was out and he thought maybe she was impaired. When authorities compared the two drastically different stories, red flags went up and they launched a full investigation. Audits of Marina's driver's license, vehicle registrations, record use, and patrol activities revealed discrepancies between the people he had been conducting database queries on and one he actually involved in the investigation.
Somehow I think the headlights he was looking for had quite a different meaning. You know, geez, oh man. This guy was a real piece of shit.
A very, very clear trend of focusing on female versus male names emerged. At the beginning of the investigation, authorities pulled Marinas from patrol activities and assigned him to desk duty. At this point, he had already been working as a supervisor, but as the evidence against Marinas mounted, he was finally stripped of his badge, his gun, and uniform and put on administrative leave.
Okay.
All told, he had conducted more than 700 questionable database inquiries.
700?
700 from as far back as 2012.
Wow.
Marinas resigned on October 30th of 2018, but the Bradenton Police Department continued their research, locating and interviewing 150 potential paramours who had been improperly targeted by the sergeant by way of social media, cold telephone calls, and visits to their home. From there, a smaller subset was identified in which We were clearly able to show that Marinas has engaged in a negative and inappropriate contact with them while presenting himself as a Bradenton police officer both on and off duty.
Right.
Bevan described Marinas as a very persistent and successful at times in securing dates with women who are primarily Hispanic. Of course, it goes without saying that this is not what officers should be doing with their access to information or with their time.
Oh, think?
Bevan, who put 5 full-time investigators on the case, resulting in thousands of hours of work to leave no stone unturned.
Okay.
Ultimately, investigators accused Marinas of numerous administrative violations, including gross misconduct, to include misuse of criminal justice information, violations of our record security policy, and sex on duty. She concluded that the sergeant could have been fired as a result of the investigation had he not already resigned. This is truly a disturbing situation for me as a chief, she added, noting that she has personally met with almost 150 women contacted by Marinas in an effort to help them regain their trust. The Bradenton Police Department internal investigation has been officially closed, and the case has now been turned over to the FBI and is an active open criminal investigation. As such, Bevans has declined to provide further information. The FBI has indicated that doing so could compromise their ongoing investigation, she said, though she released the officer's headshot in hope that more targets or anyone with more information will come forward.
Oof.
A woman identifying herself as Marina's wife contacted the New York Post to reveal that she is in the process of divorcing the disgraced sergeant and claims she had no idea of his behavior.
Wow. So what kind of penalty would he get for that?
I don't know.
I mean, would he do like 20 years or 5 years for each charge or what? I mean, I wonder if this guy's going to end up with life in prison out of this shit.
Who knows?
Jeez.
But it's amazing that he went as long as he did undetected.
Dude, buy a hooker. My God. What's the point? I don't understand the point other than, is he like a serial rapist and we just haven't gotten to that part of the story yet?
Don't know.
I mean, there's something missing. You agree with me? There's something missing from that story?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's an active investigation, so they can't really reveal everything.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you that somewhere down the road here, we'll get a follow-up story.
Yeah, that either says he was raping women or killing women.
Yeah.
A or B. Yeah, I would think that's what's coming too. I can't imagine that they're getting the FBI involved just because he was stalking.
Right.
That doesn't seem legitimate. Well, it's quite the story.
Yeah.